What is up, everybody? This is Ant, and you are checking out the Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast. And you are checking out the Attitude Years, episode 20, our special Raw is War from April 6th, 1998. It will be recapped today. They are live in Syracuse, New York. A lot has happened in the actual era so far right now. Stone Cold Steve Austin is your new WWE champion. Sable was just challenged by Luna to an evening gown match. The New Age Outlaws, X-Pac, and Triple H formed the new Degeneration X army. Kane and Paul Bearer challenged The Undertaker to an Inferno match at Unforgiven. The Rock turned on the nation, and much more. That's what's happening right now in the world of April of 1998 of WWE. So let's kick it right off. April 6th, 1998. You can check it out on Peacock if you're in the States, or you can check it out on the WWE Network if you are out of the States. So the episode of Raw starts with Vince McMahon walking down to the ring, and Vince says, "May I have your attention, please? Last week on Raw, when I had Stone Cold Steve Austin arrested, that was the toughest professional decision I made. Mr. Austin was released that night, and Stone Cold Steve Austin learned his lesson the hard way. No longer will Stone Cold Steve Austin be a blue collar WWF champion. Tonight, you will see a new and improved Stone Cold Steve Austin in this ring. I'll guarantee that, or your money back." So, for all of his fans to know, Stone Cold Steve Austin is not someone who is going to just listen to Vince McMahon and run away. So, he's guaranteeing that Stone Cold is going to be a different champion. He's not going to be the blue collar champion anymore. We'll see what happens later on, but good promo from Vince. A lot of ways to get the fans to hate him. Of course, being Stone Cold's enemy is the number one way to get the fans to hate you. But anyways, we have NWA champion Dan the Beast Severn with Jim Cornette taking on Flash Funk. And Severn nails many blows to Funk's face. And Severn drops Funk and applies an armbar pretty quickly, and Funk taps out. This is Dan's first match on Raw. So it was just sort of a squash just to sort of show his talent and his technical ability. They do mention a lot Ken Shamrock and Dan Severn's rivalry in the past in UFC. So maybe in the future we'll see the two of them go together. But Dan Severn's kind of boring. He's a beast, but he just looks just so like not comfortable walking around. I don't know. Maybe it's just my interpretation of Dan Severn. But anyways, a decent match. Great to put him over. Flash Funk will eventually move over and become Scorpio, change his whole gimmick around soon. But just a way to put over Dan Severn. And he did look good in the ring. And Jim Cornette, of course, going on and on about NWA. So Dan Severn, new addition to the roster, looking great. We again then get our WWF rewind, and that was from last week on Raw when we saw the new Degeneration X being formed. Speaking of the new Degeneration X, they actually come out to the ring. And Triple H says, "Last week I said there would be a revolution, and I always live up to my promises." And Road Dogg says, "This is a marriage straight from heaven." X-Pac says, "We're all young and hungry, and this is DX, and we're getting jiggy with it," which is funny because obviously Will Smith, that's his song. And pretty much, he pretty much says, if you want a war, WWF, if you want a war, this is the DX army. So they're pretty much putting everybody on notice that they're DX, they're young and hungry. They're going to change things up in WWF and make things crazy, and just showcasing that by just talking about it. Good promo from DX. They're looking great. Excited to see what's next from this team. We then see DX again backstage. They bully a stagehand and they start spray painting DX everywhere. And then they even spray it on an actual stagehand. So just having their sophomore humor bullying the backstage people. That's what DX does best. For next match, the Lethal Weapon, Steve Blackman taking on Too Sexy Brian Christopher. Steve Blackman kicks Brian Christopher, and Tennessee Lee walks down to the ring, and he announces that Sawyer Brown is going to back up Jeff Jarrett at a concert at Unforgiven in your house. Sawyer Brown, of course, a country band. And Blackman ends up getting a big kick and applies a submission hold on Brian Christopher. Christopher taps. However, after the match, Tennessee Lee calls out Jeff Jarrett, and Steve Blackman looks up the ramp trying to see if Jarrett will come down. However, Steve Blackman turned around and Jeff Jarrett is behind him, and he nails Steve with a guitar shot, laying him out. So this rivalry between country star Jeff Jarrett and the Lethal Weapon Steve Blackman continuing on after WrestleMania. And what a shot with that guitar by Jarrett, looking crazy. We then have DX backstage, and Triple H Triple Dog dares one of the DX members to piss on the DOA's bikes, and DX does. They actually pee on the Disciples of Apocalypse bikes, which I don't think is a really good idea, knowing the DOA is coming for them pretty soon. We then get the Bop It Slam of the week, the Legion of Doom, with their win last week on Raw. Legion of Doom 2000 with Sunny, #1 contenders for the WWF Tag Team titles, looking great. We then probably get the segment and moment of the night. Cactus Jack comes out with a chair, and he sits down in the ring, and he says, I've always taken a lot of chances in the ring, but I always had comfort of knowing that it was always worth the pain. I'll be damned if I let a group of scum like DX put Cactus Jack away. Terry Funk is not here. If Funkers hurt enough to fly home, then it's really bad. Cactus says, you ask anyone, they'll say Terry Funk is gutsy. Terry said, Cactus, I'll be all right. It's my last match. We don't have these belts, do we? I heard something that made me sick. After the match, after we got beat, they announced Stone Cold Steve Austin for the next show, and people started chanting Stone Cold's name. When I was Mankind, people say be Cactus Jack. I gave you Cactus Jack. I gave you every fucking bit of energy I had. When I laid helpless, you chanted someone else's name. This isn't a knock on Stone Cold Steve Austin. What you did to me and Terry Funk was fucking disgusting, and I'll give you a chance to make it up to me as a group apology. After 13 years, it's not worth it anymore. It's going to be a long time before you see Cactus Jack again. Wow, what an epic promo and performance by Cactus Jack there, letting everybody know his feelings. And you're starting to see the crack in Mankind. He's blaming Stone Cold, the fans, for chanting Stone Cold's name after he got beat. And you started wondering, this is the normal of Mankind or Cactus Jack to complain and bitch and moan. So we're seeing a new side of Cactus Jack, but this promo is definitely one that you should check out on its own, because it's just Mick Foley speaking his mind, coming from the heart. And I believed every word he said. Earlier today, we see the Nation of Domination beating up Faarooq outside backstage. They send him into a WWF truck. The Rock then rips Faarooq's shirt and yells at him not to come back. So The Rock is taking total control of the Nation. And we have the WWF Intercontinental Championship on the line. The champion, The Rock, with the Nation, defending against Owen Hart. There's a lot of back and forth action to start. The Rock hits a DDT and a people's elbow, but he gets a 2 count. Owen Hart nails 3 clotheslines, a swinging neck breaker, and still gets a 2 count. Owen hits a spinning heel kick, and he goes for an enziguri. He applies a sharpshooter, but Chyna comes out and nails Owen Hart with a baseball bat. Owen wins by disqualification, and after DX laugh on stage. So Chyna just being still a thorn in Owen Hart's side, hitting him in the back with a baseball bat. It looked like a stiff shot, to be honest. Owen is getting ready to fight Triple H again at Unforgiven. Will Chyna stand in his way? We'll see. But as of right now, DX is just completely ruining this episode of Raw on behalf of everyone on WWF. All right. We are now in the war zone, and Vince McMahon walks down with 2 police officers with him. And he introduces us to the new Stone Cold Steve Austin. And Steve Austin comes out wearing a tuxedo. And Vince says, I am overwhelmed. Tonight is the first step in you being the best WWF champion in the world. And this is going to take hard work. We talked about how you look. This is a work in progress, Stone Cold. Where are your Gucci shoes, though? I'm trying to compromise. And then Vince takes off Stone Cold's hat and tosses it to the ground. And Vince is considering Stone Cold, the way Stone Cold Steve Austin looks, give it up to the new and improved Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then Stone Cold says, here I am, a redneck in jail. I said, Steve, if you think you do you think you could beat Vince McMahon? I had to say, hell no. You know what? He then will turn to the police officer and says, "You know what, guys? Can you take a picture of myself and Vince McMahon holding the title together?" And then Stone Cold says, "The old Stone Cold would tell you to take the camera and tell you to shove it up your ass, but the new Stone Cold wants you to get these pictures developed because this is the last time you will see Stone Cold Steve Austin in a suit." And then Stone Cold takes off his suit and he says, DTA, don't trust anybody. I want you to bow down for Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then Stone Cold hits a low blow to Vince McMahon, and Austin takes a picture of Vince McMahon holding his crotch, bending over. And so that was just a way to kind of continue on the rivalry with Stone Cold and Vince. Stone Cold pushing Vince's button, saying, I'm not going to be who you want me to be. Love this action, love the drama. What are your thoughts on this? This segment is very popular within the Attitude Era because it just showcased just how great Stone Cold was and how defiant he was willing to be. Next, DOA come out, and the DOA say, DX, if you have balls to piss on our motorcycles, let's see if you have balls to fight us tonight. So the DOA go ahead and challenge DX to a match. We then have the first ever intergender match on Raw. Matt Gold taking on Luna Vachon with Goldust, and Luna is trying to show Sable her maneuvers before their match at Unforgiven. But before the match can happen, Goldust attacks Matt, and then Luna jumps off the top rope with a flying headbutt to Matt's stomach, and she gets a pinfall. Luna defeating Matt Gold here tonight on Raw. Just good build forward to Unforgiven. We then get a Val Venis promo, and then we have our next match, the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock, taking on Marvelous Marc Mero with Sable. And in this match, Mero makes Sable leave, and Mero nails Mero makes Sable leave the ring, and then Mero nails a sit-out powerbomb. He misses a TKO and gets hit with a belly-to-belly. But before anything can happen, the Nation run down, but Ken Shamrock grabs a steel chair. However, Mark Henry attacks Shamrock from behind and hits him with a belly-to-belly. Henry then nails a splash. D'Lo nails a sky high. And The Rock says, this is a dawn of a new era. Let The Rock give you a gift. And The Rock kicks Ken Shamrock in the gut. So The Rock pretty much dominating and showing everybody that the Nation of Domination is here to stay and that he is the new dominant leader. I'm sure Faarooq and other members will have a lot to say to that. Next, we have the Dead Man, The Undertaker, coming out probably to give his thoughts on the challenge that was laid out by Paul Bearer last week. Undertaker says at WrestleMania, Kane found out I am the Lord of Darkness. As big and strong as you are, you gave me the beating like no one else has. Your soul, Kane, is unpure, and mine is too. And you were defeated. We have desperate men resorting to desperate actions. And at Unforgiven, when you're looking at your brother and your body is set on fire, it will be the beginning of your eternal damnation. And then we see Kane and Paul Bearer at a gravesite, and it's actually the graves of the Undertaker's parents. And Paul says, I will ensure you die a slow and agonizing death. First, my King will beat you and then send you on fire. And then Kane destroys the gravesite, and then Kane actually sets the tombstone on fire. So the casket, all of their bones are set on fire by Kane. The Undertaker watches looking nervous. This is a great element to The Undertaker because his parents are involved. This rivalry continues to grow. And just the fact that Kane would burn his parents' bones to get back at his brother, insane. All right, we are at our main event. DOA taking on DX, and they have X-Pac and Chyna with them. Shane sends the Road Dogg into the post and nails a clothesline. However, DX takes control of Skull, who fires back. Triple H nails a knee lift to Skull. And then Triple H hits a pedigree on Chains and gets a 3 count. After the match, DX continued to attack DOA with steel chairs. Billy Gunn hits Chains with a pile driver on his chair. And then they tie up Chains against the ropes. But before DX can do any more damage, LD 2000 run down and make the save and help out DOA and send Degeneration X packing. So a lot to unpack here. We have more developments with Kane and The Undertaker, Kane burning The Undertaker's gravesite, The Rock viciously assaulting not only Faarooq, but Ken Shamrock. We also saw Vince McMahon and Stone Cold Steve Austin, the saga continuing, Stone Cold joking around, making Vince think he is going to be a corporate guy, not happening at all. And we also saw the crazy promo from Mick Foley, where you're starting to see, is he going to be a good guy or is he going to turn heel? Well, that is it for this week's episode of the Attitude Years. It was definitely a great episode. A lot to unpack. A lot of stuff happened here. And we are on the road to Unforgiven in your house. Our next episode will come out on Saturday, August 6th. And that episode will be for Raw is War, April 13th, 1998. They are live in Philadelphia. Stay tuned, be safe. Make sure you subscribe, like, hit the notification bell on YouTube. Give us a like on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and wherever you get your podcasts. Stay safe. Talk to y'all soon.